Well, hello, and welcome back to More Math. It is so good to see you. Today we are discussing proportions. What's it mean? It means we're going to have two ratios or rates that are equal. Here's the sign, proportions. Means it's the same. All right, so that's how we're going to sign proportions. All right, so really, what does this mean? Let's say I'm hungry and we get a pizza. I'm kind of hungry. I think I want to eat half of my pizza. So I took my pizza and I cut it into half. And I ate one of them. You're hungry too. You want to eat some pizza. But you're so much nicer than me. You cut yours into 4 pieces. That's so nice that you can share. But you know what? You're hungry also. So you ate 2 of the pieces. Wait a minute. You and I ate the same amount. Can you see that picture there? 1/2 is the same thing. It's equal to 2/4. So proportion means that I have 2 ratios, how much I ate per how many pieces. That's my ratio. 1/2 is equal to 2/4. Looks the same. Let's try another one. Let's try another proportion. So I drive to work every day. I go 3 miles, and it takes me about 9 minutes. I really love living in a small town. It's pretty great. Anyway. Anyway, if it takes me 9 minutes to get to work, how long does it take me to get there and back? In other words, a round trip. Well, how many times am I driving this? Twice, right? So I'm going to multiply by 2. I'm going there and back. So I'm not driving 3 miles this time. Really, it's 6 because 3 there and 3 back. 3 times 2 is 6. What do I need to do now? Remember, math is the only thing in your life that is completely fair. I can do whatever I want, but I have to do the same thing on the bottom. I have to do it every place. So if I multiply the top by 2, that's fine, but I have to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to multiply it by 2 also. That's how I keep everything the same. So if I drive to work and drive back, that means I'm driving for 18 minutes. So those are equal ratios. Those are proportions. Okay. A really common use of these kind of proportions is in maps, specifically in the use of scale. What does a scale means? Means if you see 1 inch on a map, that means I'm going 2 miles in the real world. So 1 inch equals 2 miles. I can't draw a map that would be perfect and that would be 2 miles. That's the same size as the world, right? So I have to condense it. Look, here on this map I have a library, I've got the park. How far is it? Let's measure it. We're going to start here at the park, go into the library. And I'm using inches, right? I'm writing down my scale. 1 inch equals 2 miles. That's my ratio right there, my rate. But it's 3 inches from the library to the park. Remember, proportions mean they're equal, right? That's so I can set this up. All right, but how many miles is it? What do I have to do? How do I get from 1 to 3? What did I do? I multiplied by 3. I can't add. We're never adding. It's always multiplying. All right, so what do? We multiplied by 3. Good job. Remember, math is fair. I can do that on the top, but if I multiply the top by 3, I have to multiply the bottom by 3. It has to be the same. All right. Two times 3 is 6. Good job. So I can use proportional reasoning to say that this scale tells me that if I want to go 3 inches, I can do the same thing on the bottom. I know we've gone 6 miles. Ah, that's cool. How far is it from the library to the school? First, we got to measure it. So how many inches is that? It's 3.5. Those two little lines means inches. So how many miles is it? We're going to do the same thing. You know, I can flip this if I want to. So how many inches? 3.5. So what do I need to do now? What did I multiply by? 1 times 3.5. Oh, you guys are so good. Perfect. Good job. Do you remember? The dot means to multiply. We're not using an x anymore because that's a variable that we're going to use later and we don't want to get confused. All right, now I can do that on the bottom. I can multiply by 3.5 as long as I do it on the top. Good job. Do you know what 3.5 times 2 equals? Good. 3 times 2 is 6. 0.5 times 2 is 1. We're going to add it up. It's 7. Good job. Oh, hey, let me write it on here. So you can use how we use the scale on the map to set up a proportion. And now I can figure out how far I had to walk if I want to go to the school, to the library. All right, that's kind of cool. Do you like to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? I do. I really like 2 tablespoons. Wait, let me try that again. Whew. I really like to use 2 tablespoons of peanut butter to 1 of jelly. You like more though, right? You like to use twice as much. So how much do you like to use? Right, we're going to multiply by 2. So you like 4. That's a lot of peanut butter. Whew. So how many scoops of jelly there? If I multiply the top by 2, I have to do the same thing on the bottom. Good job. So our proportion is there, 4/2. So we use this in we're using all kinds of different math. We're using fractions and proportions and ratios. We're multiplying. We realize that the top and the bottom are exactly the same. There's so much different math that we use over and over again, and we're going to continue to. Next thing we're going to use it with conversions, like inches to feet or something, feet to yards. That's what we're going to use proportions for next. And the ratios. There's so much cool math coming. More math, changing children's lives. Teaching children math, one sign at a time. Thanks for joining me.